I tried 10 of the most popular lower sugar or healthier desserts on the market and ranked them from best to worst so you don't have to. Over the past few years, a number of treats and desserts advertised as healthy options has skyrocketed. You got reduced sugar candy, ice cream with lower calories, more protein and protein cookies, low sugar chocolate, just to name a few. But something you might be wondering with all of these alternatives is, are they really that much better than normal desserts? And do they actually taste good? Well, today I'm going to be doing a taste test of the most popular lower sugar and healthy treat options, and I'm going to tell you which ones are worth it and which ones were a big disappointment. I'm going to be ranking 10 different desserts on a scale of 1 to 10, looking at the ingredients, at the nutritional quality, the taste, along with the overall ratings, and we're going to bring all those scores together to try to bring you a winner. I'm a registered dietitian, and I'm excited to dive into this. So if you want to find out the best options to satisfy your sweet tooth when you're trying to cut back on sugar and lose weight, make sure you keep watching. Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andres and I'm a registered dietitian who helps busy people, particularly dads, crush their weight loss goals in a way that is simple and sustainable. I work mainly with dads like myself to help them cut through the BS and a lot of the diet trends and to help them drop fat permanently without feeling restricted with their diet, without spending hours on end in the gym. So if you're on a weight loss journey right now, make sure you hit subscribe right now to my channel for science-backed fat loss advice and tons of tips that you can put into action right away. Today I'm going to reveal the best and worse healthier dessert options to help you satisfy the sweet cravings while still staying on track with your health and weight loss goals. Before we get into this taste test, I want to start off by explaining why the desserts I'm going to be talking about in this video are marketed as healthier choices. The first difference between these treats and regular desserts is the sugar content. These products have significantly or less sugar than traditional desserts, but instead they use alternative sweeteners like stevia, erythritol, monk fruit, or just less sugar, or some form of different type of sugar, like coconut sugar, for example, which is the same thing. Now, stevia and monk fruit are both natural low-calorie sweetener options, while erythritol is a sugar alcohol. Now, sugar alcohols are super low in calories and have minimal impact on blood sugars, but the main downside is that they can ferment in the gut and sometimes cause digestive issues. So, you might find yourself having symptoms like gas, bloating, and diarrhea, especially if you consume sugar alcohols in large amounts. In some of these products, they do have large amounts of erythritol. Some people are more sensitive to sugar alcohol, so make sure you check the labels and reduce your intake if you notice stomach issues. Now, in general, erythritol tends to be better tolerated than the others, except for sugar, but some people don't really like that cooling aftertaste. Now, there's a ton of other sweeteners in here. In the previous video I made on protein, I did an entire breakdown on the different types of sweeteners and what to look for. I want to make sure I keep this video not as long as that one was, so make sure you refer back to it. I'm going to link it in the description box below so you can go back and check out that video. Now, the reason we want to cut back on sugar is obviously it adds up a ton of empty calories and can easily contribute to weight gain. It's easy to overconsume and it doesn't provide the body with any nutrients. On top of that, it also causes blood sugar spikes, leading to energy crashes, increased cravings, and over time, a higher risk of insulin resistance and chronic diseases. Now, these are all issues we can avoid with lower calorie sweeteners, which can help you reduce the total caloric intake of your day and prevent the spikes in blood sugar as well. The second benefit of many of these desserts is that they're typically tend to be, not all of them, higher in protein. I'm going to talk about that as I'm doing the taste test, but higher protein is beneficial because it keeps you fuller for longer and supports muscle maintenance during weight loss, which is ideal. Third is lower calorie density. Products like Enlighten, for example, which I'm going to do a taste test in a minute, use air and fiber to create volume without adding many calories. This means that you can enjoy a satisfying portion for fewer calories, which is great when you're in a calorie deficit. And lastly, many of these more nutrient-dense dessert options, almost all of them incorporate soluble fibers like chicory root or inulin to increase fiber content. This supports digestion and helps you feel fuller longer after eating, but at the same time, from the marketing perspective, they can advertise certain things as lower sugars or sugar-free or almost like carbohydrate-free because they're not necessarily counting the amount of fiber that sometimes are added into some of these products, which you're gonna see it's crazy high sometimes. Overall, one of the main benefits that you see from this kind of desserts is honestly craving management. They allow you to satisfy the sweet cravings while making it easier to avoid overeating and stay in a calorie deficit because of their lower sugar or calorie content. Now again, this really depends because some of these products may have the same amount of of calories, comparatively speaking, to their non-healthy counterparts. However, it depends on the nutritional profile, which is why in this taste test and this entire ranking we're gonna do, we want to make sure that we go into that. Now, there's one last thing I want to get to into this before the taste test that we're gonna do, and that is it always better to choose a lower sugar option? The answer is not necessarily. While lower sugar or lower calorie or healthier options can be helpful, there's a lot of marketing that goes into this, and there are a few things that you need to consider. And the first thing is context matters. If you're tracking calories or macros, for example, you can absolutely fit in a traditional dessert into your plan, like a chocolate chip cookie instead of these high-key 6 grams of protein chocolate chip cookies. That flexibility is actually one of the biggest benefits of at least the system that I use, which is flexible eating. For some, the satisfaction in having the real thing might be worth it occasionally. And let's say you're at a birthday party and you want a slice of cake, or it's a special occasion and you want to have a favorite dessert. I'm never going to tell you to cut that out. On the other hand, if it's just a regular night and you're just having a post-dinner sweet craving, this may be a good time to maybe choose one of these alternative desserts. The second thing to consider is how your body specifically responds to these type of treats, because they don't really work for everyone. Some people are more sensitive to artificial sweeteners or the higher fiber content on some of these foods and might be even trigger digestive issues, while they feel fine having a regular full sugar dessert occasionally. All of our bodies are different, so you're gonna have to do some trial and error about what works for you specifically and personally. And third, picking lower sugar options or lower calorie or healthier options doesn't really take away the need to really focus on mindful eating. Just because something is lower calories or advertised as sugar-free or whatever is the case doesn't mean that it's just a free-for-all. Sometimes people will overeat these types of desserts because, again, they're advertised or they're marketed as healthy options, but just because they're more nutrient dense or they change the ingredients a bit doesn't necessarily mean that they're calorie-free. Moderation is important, and you still need to be mindful of calories when your goal is fat loss. And fourth, some of these products remove the sugar content but replace it with something else. For example, you will see some cookies today that are keto friendly, these ones right here, because they don't have any sugar, but they also contain 2 times the amount of fat compared to a regular cookie or a regular serving. So you have to really take these things into consideration. Okay, but it's now time for me to eat some of these treats. As I mentioned before, I'm going to be ranking these treats based on 4 key areas: label analysis, nutritional profile, taste test, and an overall rating. I'll be scoring each one out of 10 based on these factors. Here's how the test is going to go. Step 1, label analysis. We'll start by analyzing the ingredients label, checking for natural ingredients, artificial sweeteners, and anything that stands out. The higher the scores will be for treats with more natural ingredients and fewer additives and things added into that. Step 2 is going to be a nutritional profile. We're diving into the nutritional breakdown of each one of these. We're going to be focusing on sugar content, the macro profile, and making sure that the calories are in a reasonable range. Step 3 is a taste test. And then it's the fun part. We're going to be testing all of these. I'm going to try each of these snacks on camera, giving you my honest reaction to the flavor, the texture, and how we'll stack up against any other similar products. I'm going to also consider how each product compares to the real thing. So how close does the lower sugar ice cream, for example, taste to actual ice cream? Do the candies taste like regular full sugar candies? And so on. Step 4 is overall results. We're going to combine all the factors, ingredients, nutrition, and taste test, and I'm going to give each of these options an overall rating from 1 to 10, which will be an average from the 3 previous scores or results that we provided. This final score will tell you which treats or healthy desserts are going to be worth your money and which ones you can leave in the grocery store shelves or not buy. And by the way, I'm not affiliated with any of these companies. All these rankings are based on my personal preferences and my expertise as a registered dietitian. So with that said, let's get into the review. Number 1, Smart Sweets. Let's take a look at them. I already opened it because I need to try them before this. Calories, macros, we're going to be looking at 130 calories, 37 grams of carbs, out of which 15 grams are fiber, 5 grams of sugar, 3 grams of protein. Let's see. These are sweetened with stevia. They compare them with a regular gummy worm. They're good. A little bit harder. It's less sweet than gummy worms, but honestly, I'm cool with this. Don't love them, but I'm also not a big sweets guy. The label to that one, we're gonna give it an 8 out of 10. The nutritional profile, probably a 6 out of 10 because it has a ton of fiber in it, and I think that for some people, it's gonna mess up with their stomach. And the taste, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Now we're gonna be switching over to an Enlightened ice cream bar. These ones are caramel, dark chocolate, peanut, which I guess is one of the most highly ranked ones. I'm gonna put this to the side and see what we got in here. Okay, looks like an actual ice cream. 180 calories, 16 grams of fat, 9 grams saturated. The main ingredient is cream. That makes sense. It has no added sugars, 8 grams of fiber. I like that. They're basically just adding a ton of fat instead of the sugar in it. They're sweetening it, I think, with stevia and monk fruit extract, which I like that. Label, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. Nutritional profile, I'm definitely gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10 because it definitely has a ton of fat. And the taste is definitely a 9 out of 10. It still has like a weird kind of like, you know, aftertaste, but still. Number 3, we're gonna do Yasso Bars. These are one of my favorite ones. There's only one left. I already ate 3 of them. Not today. It's very similar to the Enlightened ones. But these were so much better. Yasso Bars are amazing. 140 calories, less than the Enlightened. 7 grams of fat, almost like half of them. 17 grams of carbs. It does have 14 grams of sugar, mostly from actual sugar. So it's just, they don't have any type of like sweetener added into this. I'm gonna give the label a 7.5 out of 10. Nutritional profile, I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. Flavor-wise, I'm definitely gonna give it a 9.5 because honestly, Yasso Bars are amazing. Okay, now we're gonna be doing the high key mini cookies. These are very advertised in the keto community. They're really small, kind of crumbly. I can definitely taste the almond flour. Almond flour is the main flavor. Erythritol is a sweetener. This is why it has like that cold taste afterwards. 130 calories, 12 grams of fat. Definitely higher up there. Total grams of 12 grams of carbs, out of which 2 is fiber, and the rest of it is erythritol, 3 grams of protein. Honestly, the label on this one, not a big fan, mostly because like erythritol is the second ingredient on the label. Usually you don't see sweeteners like that added so quickly into it. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5. Profile on this, because of the fact that the lower kind of like calories, although this whole thing is like 260, I think I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. And the taste, honestly, I'm not a big fan of it. Very, very almond taste, and no, not a big fan. 6.5. All right, we're gonna get now into the first chocolate, which is going to be Unreal. I already know these ones. I've tried them before. These are the size of them. Small, kind of like bite size, kind of like fun size. This tastes just like an Almond Joy. Okay. 70 calories for one of those little bars, 5 grams of fat, 8 grams of carbs, out of which 3 grams is sugar, 1 fiber, not much protein, and it honestly has a very clean label. It has like 1, 2, 3, 4. They do use actual cane sugar for this, but it's very low in sugar anyways. This is actually pretty good. Label, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10, to be honest. The nutritional profile, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10 because it does still have, I mean, like it's only 70 calories, but it's easy to have like 3 of these, so definitely can add up. But the taste though, that's a 9.5 for sure. This chocolate is really, really good. Now we get into Quest. These ones just came out not too long ago. It's kind of a replacement to M&M's, which is kind of crazy. In fact, I'm gonna dump them right inside in here so you can see kind of what they look like. If I can get it to open. So look at this. They look just like them. The colors are not as bright, which I think is a good thing. Oh my. Yeah. Oh wow, though, it's cold. This has definitely got erythritol in it. Wow, that's really good. Okay, 180 calories for the whole bag, 13 grams of fat, a little bit higher on that, 23 grams of carbs, out of which is 3 fiber, 16 grams of erythritol. In fact, it is the second ingredient after peanuts. It's a very long label. So the label, I'm definitely gonna give it like a 6 out of 10. Nutritional profile, because of the fact that it does actually has a ton of them, it's like 8 out of 10. The fact that compared to M&M's, it contains only 1 gram of sugar, compared to 33 grams in one of these bags in the same amount, I think is definitely worth it. Taste, 8 out of 10. It has a cold aftertaste, but it's honestly a great replacement for M&M's. Now we're gonna be getting into another Quest product. It's gonna be the Quest Frosted Cookies. I think this came out last year. Quest has really good products, to be honest, for lower carb options. Smaller one. Again, reminder, Andres, just eat a little bit. Don't eat the whole thing. Kind of chewy. 90 calories for the whole cookie, 7 grams of fat, 10 grams of carbs, out of which 6 is sugar alcohols, which I'm pretty sure is going to be, it's sucralose. Okay, so that kind of gives me a good idea. The label on this is definitely going to be probably like a 6 out of 10. Nutritional profile, because it's like one cookie and has a decent size, 90 calories, not too bad, like an 8.5 out of 10. And the taste, I think I'm going to give it probably like an 8 out of 10. Okay, now we're going to be switching into the Lenny and Larry's Complete Cookie. These are super famous. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of it, but I'm gonna tell you why. This whole cookie has 440 calories. This is a small meal. Now, it is a big cookie. It's not a small cookie, but it has more calories than a regular chocolate chip style cookie. And they usually tell you that you're supposed to have half. You think I'm gonna have half of these things? I'm gonna cut it in half? No, nobody does that. The label, it's kind of targeted for vegans because it's fully vegan apparently, but the main thing is enriched wheat flour is the main thing, and then they have a lot more protein options from wheat gluten, pea protein, rice protein, definitely not suitable for gluten-free people. 5 grams of fat, it has 35 grams of carbohydrate, out of which 11 grams of sugar, which is kind of surprising, and 8 grams of protein. Now, this is for half of it, I forgot to mention that. 10 grams of fat for the whole thing. It's 70 grams of carbs for the whole cookie. It is 22 grams of sugar and 16 grams of protein. Take a little bit. It's like chewy. I'd rather have just the real thing, to be honest. I think if you're vegan, I get it, but if you're not, I don't think it's worth it. Label, 7 out of 10. Nutritional profile, 5 out of 10. Clearly, because the amount of calories it has. And the taste, I'm going to give it probably like an 8. I wouldn't normally have this just for as a top option for a chocolate chip cookie, if that makes sense. Now, we got 2 more options. We're going to switch over to Who Chocolate. Or Hue Chocolate, I don't know. My wife started buying these not too long ago, and I honestly love them, but I'm gonna do this taste test so I can kind of like show you. The serving size of this is about half a bar, which is like for these little guys. I think honestly that's a pretty good serving size, but I typically have 2 at a time, which is really why I like it. Nutritionally speaking, 180 calories for half a bar, so half of these thing. It has 13 grams of fat, 13 grams of carbs, out of which 3 is fiber, 8 grams of sugar, 3 grams of protein. I love the label because literally there's like 4 things in it. Organic cocoa, coconut sugar, almond flour or almond butter, cocoa butter, and organic quinoa. That's probably where the protein comes from. So it's like very, very good label. I'm gonna have the whole thing. Oh my God. Label, 9.5 out of 10. Nutritional profile, I think for the size of it, it's very rich. You can be totally fine having just 8 out of 10 probably in the nutrition profile because it does have a good amount of fat. And taste, this is one of the few things that I'll kind of give it 10 out of 10. There's absolutely nothing I don't like about this. Amazing. And last, we have So Delicious dairy-free ice cream sandwiches. These are really small. I've had them before. They're really kind of like melted because I've been sitting in here doing this video for a while. I mean, those are pretty good. Let's see. 100 calories per sandwich. Let's have this whole thing. 4 grams of fat, 16 grams of carbs, 8 grams of sugar. Not bad. All organic stuff. It's a nice ice cream wafer, to be honest. Label, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think 100 calories for a sandwich is great. Nutritional profile has like an 8 out of 10. Mostly organic stuff. And then the last one is going to be the taste. I think this is an 8 out of 10. It's not the greatest because I think it tastes better like an actual real ice cream sandwich, comparatively speaking. But it's honestly a really good replacement. But that brings us to the end of our taste test. Now, based on my results, my top choice for the best healthy dessert is Who Dark Chocolate with a 9.17 score. It's going to be followed on a second on Real Chocolate. So chocolate wins today. And then it's going to be transitioned over by the So Delicious dairy-free option. I think honestly it's pretty good for being a dairy-free option. Then we're going to have Yasso Bars, number 4. And we're going to have Enlightened Ice Cream. So ice cream and chocolate wins all the healthy desserts in here. So there you have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the ones in last place is going to be Lenny and Larry's cookies. Clearly, you're not gonna have almost 500 calories for a cookie. Best taste, Hue Chocolate. Best nutrition profile, Quest Frosted Cookies. Best label, Hue Chocolate again. And there you have it, 10 desserts ranked based on ingredients, nutrition, and taste, with Hue Chocolate coming in at first place. Now that you've seen my rankings, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you tried any of these treats? What was your favorite? Were there any lower sugar desserts that I didn't include in here that you actually like and enjoy? Let me know below, and if you really like this video and want to see more like it, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and for watching my taste test, watching me eat all these calories, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. See you soon.